Hello guys. Okay, this is another sharing 101, and this one I want to share to you my mock-up of the Shawshank Redemption movie. It was in 1994, starring Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Okay, so this one is a film score by the great Thomas Newman. And here in this piece, this is the intro uh, of the movie. Okay, so here this is at around 40 bars of intro. This is the Stoic theme pertaining to Tim Robbins. Okay, so here, this is a very unique orchestration by Thomas Newman. Why? Because here you only have one flute, four French horns, a timpani, piano, and the string section. Okay, so here it's a very unique sound. Why? Because the the harmonic palette of this scoring is based on modes. Okay, a Dorian mode here entering in doubling with cello and bass, and then the theme enters with the viola. Okay, so it's very unique in a way, harmonically and melodically. So it's it sounded like a post-romantic orchestration by, for example, Wagner or Gustav Mahler, that those great composers. So this one is has a mood change and textural change. Here at bar 21, the bass line just goes to the cello part without the contrabass. And then a piano part enters in chordal passages. And then after that, starting from bar 27, the contrabass again enters with the cello. So this one is like a recapitulation or a restatement of the theme until it goes to the end of the music. So here from 37 to bar 40, the theme again enters. Okay, the cello and contrabass. Okay, so this one, it's a free download in the description, and you can download this one. So you have a personal copy of this Shawshank Redemption Stoic Theme by Thomas Newman. Okay, now let's go to the Cubase, my Cubase Pro 12. And this one is exactly what is written in the score. Okay, so here my go-to strings is the Cinematic Studio strings, and then my percussion is the Spitfire BBCSO professional version with timpani, two timpani tracks. One is for the timpani roll and one is for the timpani hit. Okay, so it's better this way to configure the passage. Why? Because if you have one track only, you will rely on the key switches, and it's better this way because you have no key switches here. And then here in my piano, I use the the free Hammersmith piano by Sonic Couture. Okay, so if you want to download this one, just go to the website, the Sonic Couture website, and look for the Hammersmith piano. And this one, even it's free, it's really beautiful. And then here, on my in my brass, I have 4 French horns for using the BBCSO. And then for layering, I again use the Abbey Road one Orchestral Foundation library, and for layering I use the horns on that one. And then for my flute, again, it's a BBCSO flute. Okay, so let's start with the music, and this is the sound of it. Okay, that's the whole part of the intro of the movie, the the Shawshank Redemption Stoic Theme. Okay, so here, guys, um, it's very different in cinematic studio strings regarding automation. Okay, so if we open the contrabass, okay, this one, the contrabass track. Okay, so here all the parts I played all the parts in using the click, no, the metronome. So if you if I'll let you show my controllers like this one, the controller 59, controller 58, the expression CC 11, the main volume CC 7, and CC 1 for the modulation. This library is very different compared to BBCSO library. Why? Because here in in using the expression um, in Cinematic Studio Strings, you only need to mostly you only need to um, use the CC1, the modulation, during the recording. No, here you just have to put the expression or CC11 in the max, no, the one at 127, and here um, there are two types of using different articulations by means of key switches or by means of the control or CC58. So here at CC58, uh, uh, here I set the CC58 at around 3. Okay, so if you yeah, on 3, so meaning from 0 to 5, it means that this one, the articulation from 0 to 5 is legato. So here the advantage of CC58 is even if you move forward or move backwards, it will always be the key switch on that part. Okay. The advantage of CC58 is it is not affected even if you move forward or move backward. It will always read what is on that setting. Okay. So CC59 is another unique in Cinema Studio Strings. Why? Because CC59, when you set it at around 13 to 14 or 0 to 13, the round robin is always fixed. Even if you export this one, it will only it's fixed. No, the preset is always fixed. Not like if I'm not using the CC58, there's always a probability that the round robin will always change if you export the passage. Okay, so here that's the main thing with Cinematic Studio Strings. You only use the modulation CC1 for automation. Okay, it's different with it's different with BBCSO. BBCSO, like this one, the flute part. Yeah, this one, the flute part. You always have to use the fader CC11 here. No? Here, CC11 and CC1 simultaneously to get the feel of the realism of the passage. You always use both two faders when you automate. Okay, but in Cinematic Studio Strings, no, you only need one fader, the CC11, and CC11 will bring the realism on your automation. Okay, so this is very simple. You just have to play with the click of the metronome and use the fader, the CC11 and CC1 when you record every passages. Okay, so here at my Abbey Road, oh, wrong spelling. Abbey Road library, the doubling of this one, because this one I layered the Abbey Road library with the BBCSO horns. I only took the horn 1 passage and horn 3 passage. Okay? And put it inside the single track of Abbey Road 1 horns. Okay? So it's only a doubling. Horn 1 and horn 2 is the same, and the passages for horn 3 and horn 4 is the same. So it's in reality it's only two lines on the part of the horns, but this one is more on the doubling, so it gives more bite to the brass. Okay, so that's it. And in the timpani, the timpani, um, here the timpani roll um, is BBCSO. So this one is the roll. Okay, so it's more advantageous when you use separate passage for the timpani roll and timpani hit. Okay, so for timpani hit, it will be this one. Yeah, that one. So together, it sounded as if it's a single timpani. Yeah. Okay. So that's how I record all the parts of the piece, and then after that, um, I use 4 reverbs, the same reverb, the same plugin, and my plugin is the PSP AudioWare, the PSP Reverb 2445. This is a great reverb, guys. So if you have money, you buy this reverb. Okay, so here let's go to my mix console. Yeah, this one, the string reverb, percussion reverb, brass reverb, and flute reverb. Okay, so when you use reverb, guys, again, I'll show it to you. This one is the, let me decrease the size. Yeah, okay, so this one is the string reverb, the flute reverb, the woodwinds, this one. Okay, here, this is I'll let you show my technique on how to use the reverb. Okay, the brass, this one. Yeah, brass, and the last one is the percussion reverb. Okay, so let me show to you my okay, so here, guys, all of my settings are large hall. Okay, large hall. So this setting gives you an effect of the orchestra is playing on a large hall, in a large hall. Okay, so here, guys, I set my decay time at around 2.8 milliseconds. Okay, 2.8 seconds. Okay, 2.8 seconds. The same for all reverb. But the difference is, the biggest factor here is the pre-delay. Okay, so I showed to you our previous mock-up, the 20th century theme by Alfred Newman, and still this one is the same setting. So for string reverb, you have to set the pre-delay at about between 48 to 60 milliseconds. Okay, so meaning the strings are the nearest to the conductor, therefore you have to give a greater pre-delay for the strings. Okay, so next in the ranking is the flute or the woodwind section, but here it's only one flute, and you have to decrease your pre-delay at the middle increment. Why? Because the flute is much farther away with the conductor. Okay, so the next more far section is the brass section, and you have to decrease again your pre-delay on your brass section. And lastly, the percussion section is the most less pre-delay. Okay, it's the most less pre-delay for the compared to the other section or a reverb. Okay, so that's the pre-delay. It's now the setting for the the main reverb is this one. For strings, I set my string reverb at around -10. Okay, -10. Okay, so that's my starting point. And then for my woodwind, it's more greater. It's more reverb at around -8. Okay, and the brass section has a more reverb at around -6. And lastly, the percussion section, no, the percussion section, this timpani tracks. This is the this one has a great a big reverb at around -5 because the percussion section is the farthest from the conductor. It's so the settings for this one is somewhat an inverse or an opposite for the pre-delay. So the pre-delay, the percussion section has the least pre-delay, but it has a greater, the most great reverb setting. Okay, so here, for example, the strings, it's around -10, so it has a lesser reverb, but in the pre-delay, it's the most it has the most great amount for the pre-delay. So it's an opposite. So opposite settings for the pre-delay and opposite settings for compared to the reverb. Okay, so that's it. And then my inserts in my mix bus, it's the same. It's the same. Still, I use the AMEC mastering compressor, and I use the preset mix bus gentle fader. And the next in the chain, the second in the chain, is the Kirchhoff EQ. I just boosted here at around 68 hertz, and then I boosted some at around 3000 hertz, and the last is I boosted at around 30 kilohertz, okay, at around 3.1 dB. And the next in the chain is another EQ, my favorite EQ in its default setting. It's the Millenia NS-EQ2, no, by Brainworks. It's under Plugin Alliance. So this one, even in the default setting, it gives it added a character to the mix. Okay, and again, the free plugin of Slate Digital, it's the Fresh Air, and here I boosted quite big, no, the high peak or the high frequency I boosted at around 40, and on the low frequency I boosted at 30. to give a sparkle to the sound of the strings. And then the Steinberg or Cubase stock plugin, the maximizer, I just put the output at around -3 dB. And the last is I use the Cubase limiter at around -2 dB. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's my setting for this one. So it gives more realism to my mockup. Okay, so one more time, guys. I'll play to you again the Shawshank Redemption Stoic Theme on the intro part of the movie. Okay, so one more time. Okay, that's the mock-up of from Thomas Newman's scoring of the Shawshank Redemption theme. So I included the whole orchestral PDF for this one, and it's a free download. So you just have to look for the under the description. Okay, so again, guys, this is another sharing 101 of my mock-up of Shawshank Redemption theme. So if you like my video, you just have to click the like button, or if you want to subscribe to my channel, just do it, guys. So again, guys, so see you again on another sharing 101 next. See you when I see you guys. Bye bye.